Hi guys, hi, hello, how's it going today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing another haul in retrospect. This is a series on my channel that I do once a month. I come back to you and I talk to you about the purchases that I made this time last year. So anything I hauled in December of last year, we're going to go over today and see how I feel about them. Now, notoriously, I have a problem with using my stuff because I haul in so much stuff. It is embarrassing sometimes that I am coming back to you a year later and saying, I haven't even used this yet. I had a friend of mine tell me that I'm always hauling in all this stuff, but I very rarely come back to you guys and talk to you about it. So I thought I would start doing that, and I've been doing this on my channel for about a year and a half. With that said, I do hope that this is something that you're interested in, something that you want to watch. And for those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. So happy to have you here today. I'm a lover of all things high-end, colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a district leader, and I like to bring you all the education that I'm receiving in my position in the beauty industry. I do a lot of hauls here, a lot of reviews here. I'm going to try and do some more get ready with me's or tutorials in the new year. That is on my plan. With that being said, I also just kind of like to talk about makeup, and you people are the people that I like to talk about makeup with because you're my people, and ain't nobody here in my personal life wanting to chat with me about all the things that I like to chat about. So I pick you, Pikachu, and we are going to roll right into this video. I hope that you like it enough that you'll want to subscribe before you go. With that said, let's roll right into this haul in retrospect. All right, so in December of last year, I didn't do a whole lot of beauty purchasing. I did a lot more clothes purchasing. For those of you new here, I have been on a healthcare journey for the last, I think it's been roughly about a year and a half. I lost a bunch of weight over the last year since moving into a different plan. I have gained some of that back. I am currently on my downward trend journey to reimagine what my life will be like on this healthcare journey. Long story short, I bought a bunch of clothes because all of the clothes that I had in my collection of clothing were like the 3X mark, and I needed smaller clothes. So I went ahead and purchased a bunch of clothes. That was the bulk of my December purchases last year. I can't really come back to you and tell you how I feel about those clothes, except for that I still have them in my collection. I still wear them. With that said, let's talk about the purchases that I did buy that are beauty purchases. The first thing that I purchased last December is this. This is a little cleanser set that I purchased to clean my brushes. And I purchased this because I had purchased one previously from, I think, FabFitFun, and I really thought that it did a really great job of cleaning my brushes. You fill this with some kind of cleanser. You stick one of these little contraption guys onto this brush here, like this, and then you put your brush on the end. These guys are made in different sizes to fit all the different sizes of brushes in your collection. So you can find one to fit every single one of your brushes. You put the cleanser in here, you put the contraption together and your brush attached to it, and then you stick your brush in the bowl and you turn on the wand. And I don't know if you guys can hear that. It vibrates and spins your brush in the water. And then you lift the brush out of the cleanser and continue to spin it, and it spins all the water off the brush, and therefore your brush becomes not only washed, but also dry. So the reason I purchased this is because I had used one previously, or purchased one previously from another company, and it worked really well. I loved using it. But I used it with my Cinema Secrets brush cleaner, and it had a seam across the bottom of it. And that seam, the brush cleaner ate the seam, because that brush cleaner isn't meant to sit in a spot where there's glue, right? You're supposed to use it, like spray it on your brushes, not like drench your brushes in it, not sit your brushes up in it so that all of it goes down into the glue parts. It will eat the glue. It ate the glue on the seam on the bowl, so it continued to leak everywhere. So I did purchase this one. There is no seam on this bowl, and it works magically. I love it. It is probably my favorite brush washing tool, if I'm honest. I will deep clean my brushes every other month, and then I'll use this every other month, and then of course I wash them in between uses with my Cinema Secrets. This is the brush cleanser that came with this whole setup. I haven't used this. It's still sealed. I can't tell you whether this is a great brush cleaner or not because I haven't tried it. I will, though, maybe pop it open this year and get some use out of it because I am interested to see if this works. But on a secondary note, I purchased this, I think, from Costco, and you can never find this stuff at Costco. So I would have to look it up to find out where it's from. But I do love that tool. I have used that tool. I will continue to use that tool. All right, next thing were these two items here. This is the Natasha Denona Contour Sculpting Powder and Natasha Denona Super Glow. First of all, this is the Super Glow. Took me a long time to buy into this because this doesn't just look like a magical highlighter, but it is a magical highlighter. It is a beautiful highlighter. I love this highlighter so much. I have used it so much. It has been in my Shop My Stash rotation. Actually, I think it was part of the first Shop My Stash rotation, which is where I got the most use out of it, but I do use it occasionally and I do love it. I am not sorrowful that I purchased that. And then this Natasha Denona Contour and Sculpting Powder is just such a beautiful contour powder. I do love this contour powder. It's like the perfect contour shade that lends a little bit of shadow, but not like dirty shadow look. And if you know, you know. It also isn't warm, so it doesn't look like a bronzer that you're trying to use as a contour, which isn't a bad thing. But I sometimes like also to have a contour and a bronzer. So I think that these two powders are perfect. They're huge powders. They are 10 grams each. And that's pretty dang big for a nice powder. I think that they're not as big though as the like component needs. This component doesn't need to be this big. It does take up a lot of space in my collection drawers, but I am not sorrowful that I purchased these either. And I'm happy to say that I've used them multiple times over the last year. Yay me. That contour, like I said, I have the shade medium. I do think it comes in a light and a deep as well. And it is a really perfect, not too gray, not too warm toned contouring powder. It is a beautiful, beautiful powder. And the Super Glow is, you know, I would say that it is subtle, but not too subtle. So if you're looking for natural makeup, this might not be the best option for you. I would say the Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow is probably going to be more suitable for that natural look to makeup. This is just going to be your next step up because it is very shiny, very pretty, but not like Benefit cookie shiny. All right, the next thing were these, and these are two palettes that I wanted to try Profusion last year. As a matter of fact, I think that that was a brand that was on my list of brands to try. And if it wasn't, I don't know why it wasn't, because it was so hyped over the year previous that all I kept thinking about was, I need to try Profusion. I need to try Profusion. So in December, I did purchase these two palettes, and I do have a palette roulette on this Wanderlust palette. My palette roulette videos, for those of you new, are palette review videos of the palettes that I have in my collection, not necessarily the biggest, brandest new thing, but palettes that I have in my collection. I show you live swatches, I talk about my findings or my experiences with the said palette, and I also show you pictures of the looks that I was able to accomplish using the palette. This one, I do have a palette roulette on because I have used it, and this is a wonderful palette. I would say that these shadows rank right up there with Colourpop, only they are cheaper than Colourpop. I would say they're maybe even better than Colourpop, if I'm honest. I do love these. They're creamy, they're beautiful, they're giant pans. This one is just a color story that I picked up. And this one was the other one that I picked up, Beautiful Fall Tones. I haven't used this one yet. I think that the biggest reason why I haven't used this one yet is because it looks very much like it is straight up shimmers, and that is it. This one is Enchanted, and this one is Wanderlust. Now, I would say Wanderlust did have quite a few shimmers in it that were not super shimmery, and I think that that is maybe why I haven't picked this one up yet, because this one looks like it's all shimmers, and I don't need, you know, 21 shades of shimmer. I just don't. I would need also a matte palette to go with it, because it does appear that they're all shimmers. With that said, I'm not sure that I like this brand or this. I'm kind of an eyeshadow snob. My friends would tell you that. I don't dabble in drugstore very often. I'm not sure that this is a formula that will end up staying in my collection, and the biggest reason why is because of the hit and miss nature of the shimmer. Some of them were beautiful and some of them just weren't as shimmery as I want them to be, and I have all of these shades in a bigger, beautiful, more impactful way in my collection somewhere. So I'm not 100% certain that these two palettes will stay in my collection, and this one hasn't even been used. The other thing I was really disappointed with these palettes is, now I tread very lightly here, because I do know these palettes were only $10 and they come with a brush. So I do know that. I'm not like faulting them at all. They do a damn good job for $10 per palette and to include a brush. But I had heard such wonderful things about Profusion Brushes that I actually anticipated that I was going to love this brush so much that I was going to think that I needed to also purchase a set of Profusion brushes, because I am also a brush hoarder. My brush, as soon as I dipped it in and put it on my eye, fell into two pieces. So I was not impressed with the brush that came with it. The bristles on that brush were super soft, but I wasn't interested in gluing it back together and messing around with a brush that just wanted to fall apart right after I put it in my makeup. So that was disappointing. But overall, the formula of these shadows is dang well worth the $10 that you pay for these palettes. But like I said, I just haven't used the one. So, all right. I also bought a Homeworks candle, which has since been burned and used and no longer in my collection. I believe it's in my year-long empties bins, but I'm not going to go dig it out for you. It's a 4-wick candle, and I got the homespun vanilla sugar or something like that. Spun vanilla sugar, something like that. I can't remember. When I first smelled that candle, I thought it smelled so divine. It smelled so, so glorious. But as I burned it, it started to smell a wee bit like sour. It was very strange to me that a vanilla sugar candle was smelling the way that it did. It was almost sickeningly sour. So I wouldn't purchase that scent again, but the candle burned very nicely. It burnt very evenly, and I loved using it, if not for the smell. I also bought an Eos Shave Cream, and y'all know, if you've been around a while, that I love the Eos Shave Cream. I think it's a glorious shave cream. It is the best shave cream to keep my, you know, ashy, dry legs from being even more ashy and dry from shaving. So I always continue to repurchase that shave cream, and probably always will. And then I also bought Hourglass Veil. So this is a primer that I really, really wanted to have. I have a crazy primer fascination, but I used this in a sample in the sample series that I ran last year on my channel, and the sample fascinated me. It was beautiful. It went onto the skin beautifully. It had a little bit of a blue tint, but didn't appear blue and didn't mess with any of the coloring on your, you know, of your makeup. And it made my skin, it felt so silky, and it made my skin look airbrushed. It was beautiful. So I purchased the full size when it came to Ulta Beauty. So it came to Ulta Beauty and I purchased it with points. There was no way I was spending the full size price for this primer because it's a damn expensive primer. But I have used it. It sits about here at this point. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but I have used it. It's a beautiful primer. I love it as a primer, and I would probably honestly repurchase it in the future. I kind of use it in a very, very seldom way because I don't want to use it up, and it's one of my favorite primers. All right, I also purchased from Ulta Beauty a couple palettes. I purchased this one, the Colourpop Baroque palette. And if you guys saw my palette roulette that went up on Wednesday, you know that this is the current palette in my palette roulette because I hadn't used it up until this point. It is what is on my eyes today in conjunction with the Huda Beauty Purple Haze palette. And, you know, I cannot say that I am unimpressed. I mean, this color story is gorgeous. I have this one and this one and this one on my eyes today. So this is in my brow bone, which I think you guys can see is a beautiful brightener. I have this one all over my lid. This one was kind of a little bit of a dud for me because everything around it was so dark that this is also darker than I think it appears in the pan. It does appear dark in the pan, but it also appears shimmery, and I didn't think it was as shimmery as I wanted it to be. It's a beautiful silver, but it's not as shimmery as I wanted it to be. So I did kind of pop some pigment on top of it, some like blue iridescent pigment on top of it, which is what is giving it its shine, but it is super pretty. And then this one, it blends beautifully. It is such a beautiful palette, and I'm super excited to be using it this week for my palette roulette. And if you want to see my overall impressions of this palette, be sure to tune in on Monday when I will be doing the review on this palette. I might actually wait until Wednesday to do the review on this palette, but be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so that you're notified. The last thing that I purchased in the month of December was the Hello Kitty collection from Colourpop. I'm kind of a junkie when it comes to Hello Kitty. I have an entire corner of my beauty room dedicated to Hello Kitty. I just love Hello Kitty. She, you know, I'm very like nostalgic for Hello Kitty. So anything Hello Kitty, I think I need to have. I have since like kind of come out of that. Hello Kitty has been a Colourpop collaboration like 4 times this year, and this is the only one I have. I haven't used this palette, and I have to be honest, I don't know that I will. I didn't really purchase it as a palette to use. It is a beautiful palette. It's gorgeous colors, but I do have this color story over and over and over again in my collection, so I'm not sure that I will use it. I just really love the like snow globe effect to the front of the packaging and her friends sitting in this snow globe. Like, I have a Hello Kitty issue, so there's that. I did, however, use the lip glosses, and I did end up decluttering those in my last declutter because they have gone bad. And that's the one thing that I can say that I do not ever purchase from Colourpop is their lip glosses, because they just go bad way too quickly for somebody who has a collection like mine. I do also have these 2 things. One of them is a lip scrub and one is a lip mask. I also would not be surprised if these were bad as well, but I have not used them, so I couldn't tell you. They're so cute because the lids have Hello Kitty on the top, and I don't think that you guys are going to be able to see that. Maybe if I grab the purple one. Are you guys going to be able to see that? They have Hello Kitty on the top, so you know, they're super cute. They sit in my Hello Kitty corner, and like that is what they are in my collection. I also purchased at some point a like Trapper Keeper Morphe Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper palette that I also only purchased for the nostalgia of it all. I also have like a NARS eyeshadow palette in my collection that's an Andy Warhol print in an eyeshadow palette. There are things that I purchased that I have no intention of using. This was one of those things that I had no intention of using. So from the perspective of have I gotten what I wanted to get out of that, I absolutely have. With everything else, I think I've done a great job. I mean, this is the only thing that as of this date, 1 year later, that I had intended to use that I haven't used yet, and it was a $10 spend, so I can't say that I am disappointed in myself in that. And I'm excited about the usage of the items that I brought in December. So with that said, do you remember what you purchased in December? I'm really thankful to have the channel that I have because I'm able to remember these things as I go back and review and look, and I could tell you in a given month anything that I purchased that month and whether I've used it or not and how I felt about it, because if it's palette specifically, I probably have a palette roulette on it. I have 158 of those up at this point in time. That is 164 different eyeshadow palettes because I've done 2 palettes in a video before multiple times. So I have a lot of reviews out there. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you're enjoying the Holland Retrospect series that I have on my channel. I do enjoy coming back and talking to you guys about these items because unless I declutter them in a video or I empty them through usage, I never talked to you guys about them yet. My friend JC was spot on with that. I hope that you all enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you did, you're considering giving it a big thumbs up. I also hope that you enjoyed it or me enough that you'll consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification bell so you're notified every single time I upload a video. I appreciate every single one of you for being here today, and I do hope that you and yours are safe, that you are well, and that you are getting along in this chaotic world that we're living in currently as best that you can. I also hope that you have an amazing New Year's, because New Year's Eve is tomorrow or today. When is this going up? It's soon anyways, and I just want you to be safe out there, but also have an amazing time, and I hope that you have fun ringing in 2022. I appreciate all of you for being here today. I hope that you're loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.